Okay. All right. So February 12th, I went ahead and made it the starter. Made it formal. Okay. So here we go. The code. All right. You see right there is flames. The code is flames. Put that in, please. All caps. All right. And begin. Okay. And I'll give you a little bit longer this time. And we'll take it from there. Okay, you have a preview. Whoa, my B. You see the questions though, same questions. Which of the following is true about Malawi? Is that question 4 times, but there are different characteristics. All right, make sure you're paying attention. So go ahead and do the quiz, please, and then we'll move on in a couple minutes. I will play some music. Music or no music? All right, let's see. I'll do a little bit of music, and then y'all can turn it down if need be, and I'll turn my camera back on when I'm ready to move on. All right.
Madenga moyo wansanu malo esamanda. Madenga moyo wansanu malo esamanda. Kodi mutabida kuti obesa inuyo mutalo wasoko mwego amalume obesa inuyo mutabira soko mwego amalume. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
All right, but let's transition. Let's transition here.
So again, your objective is to show knowledge of Malawi's culture, history, economics, geography, and government. Unit and statement of inquiry are the same. The synchronous work is the starter, which is the formal quiz. And then we're going to start 90 Malawi story time. And then there is no ticket out the door today.
Today's fairly low key. Legitimately, here's what I'm doing. Everything I'm doing today, I'm just going to tell you personal stories about my time in Malawi. All right, that's it. And you need to tell me, okay? So we go to this page 90, story time. And you'll be able to view this again. I'm just going to go through, and you need to identify which area of Chegg, culture, history, economics, geography, and government, best relates to that story. All right, that's all you're going to do. And then you write why, the justification. Okay, justification why. So that's what you're going to do. So I'm going to tell 5 stories, or as many as I have time to tell, just about my experience there and what I did there. Okay, and from there, okay, you are going to again write down which area of Chegg best relates to my story. You may disagree with somebody else. You may think it's culture, someone else may think it's geography. That's fine, as long as you put a solid justification, you understand what it is. Okay, what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about these stories and events, and then you'll have to just catch up on the page. But super low key day today. All right, so here we go. Story 1. All right, here we go. All right. So these pictures represent what I did there. Okay, when I went to Malawi, and again, this is a long time ago, much younger, much more active, right? So I went to Malawi 2009 to 2010, okay? And from there, okay, I trained and worked with some young men in the community to be soccer coaches and to use their skills for good to benefit the youth in their communities. All right, so here in top left one, so here's a group in my local community near where I live. We played on this dirt field every day at 5 a.m. Everybody get up in the morning. The sun would come up. We'd all get up with the sun. We'd all walk up to the top of the hill and play soccer up there all together. Okay, that's that picture here. And then these were my brothers while I was there. Okay, all right. I worked with those gentlemen to train them to be coaches in their communities and to use soccer to help the children in the communities live healthier, more vibrant lives, valuing, through education and health and just kind of making great decisions. So that's kind of what I did there. Here I'm just running a training session with those coaches that they then would replicate in their communities. And then here just playing a game with some guys as well. So that is story number 1. That is story number 1. So at this point, go ahead and write down, look in your notebook, page 90. Okay, page 90, and see if you can write down which area of Chegg, culture, history, economics, geography, and government, best relates to this story. Okay, go ahead and do that now. Are y'all ready for story number 2? Y'all ready for story number 2? All right, here we go. Story number 2. All right, so one of the things that I did while I was there, we went and visited, if y'all remember the Village Schoolhouse project from last year, that was built in Gadi Village, okay, or near Gadi Village, between a couple villages. And these are some pictures of Gadi Village. So I obviously have some of the children here, but you have some, when we were there, they would host and they would try and spoil the guests. That's just part of the, I'm not going to say the word because that kind of gives it away, but that's just part of the vibe of Malawi, the warm heart of Africa. They would give you the best food, which for them, the best food was basically the stomach, the intestines, the heart, the liver of the goats that they've made for you. All right, that's what they would do, and that was what was normal there. But here also, maybe you have a little bit of, here's one of their gardens. All right. Now, again, if you remember in Malawi, there's a wet and a dry season. So part of the time in Malawi, you can't grow anything, okay, because it won't rain. That's just the reality. And that first rain that comes, it's like a massive celebration. It's like Christmas, okay, because the rains finally come and you can finally grow things. And it's crazy that I remember the first rain. I could like hear it in the distance, hitting all the like the metal roofs. It's like a wave coming in. You could just see it in the distance. That first rain, I remember it very distinctly. All right. But here's one other thing for this. Here's one other thing. Right here, this green area, okay, that's water in this concrete tank, like a swimming pool. All right. So this concrete tank, okay, is filled with water that is pumped from a well by a solar powered pump. So there's a solar powered pump in Gotti Village that pumps water from the well under the ground. Because there's water under the ground. Okay, you go deep enough, okay, and it pumps water into the tank. And then from that tank, yeah, there's a hose. You can't see it. They kind of have a line here, a pipe that runs down into this part so they can farm and they can grow crops all year. All right. So that's one of the projects that we worked on, that Equitas, the organization that we went and worked with for the Village Schoolhouse Project and the Walk for Education last year. Okay. So that's that picture as part of that growing area, and a baobab tree in the back, like a famous tree. I got a story about that too. And then here's some tobacco leaves. As you're walking in this village at this time, it was after the harvest of the tobacco leaves, giant tobacco leaves. And everybody that went out and harvested then dries them and hangs them in their house, okay, to dry before they take it to market. And the baobab tree, it's a tree that looks like the roots are extending from the ground up. It almost looks like the tree's upside down. So the story behind that is someone somehow made God mad. So he grabbed the tree, he or she grabbed the tree, turned it upside down, and took the beautiful part of the tree and shoved it into the ground so the roots are hanging out. It's kind of like this folklore, this story, and this story, and kind of the ancient traditions of the baobab tree. All right, that's story number 2. Go ahead and write which area it best relates to: culture, history, economics, geography, and government, and explain why. All right. All right, I do want to get through as many as I can, but let's take a look here. All right, so some of these were while I was on like a traditional safari, right? So sometimes in sub-Saharan Africa, there are these businesses, these organizations, these companies that will take people around this area where you can see wildlife in its natural habitat. All right, so like the alligator, I forget when we saw the alligator. I don't think that was on the safari. No, that was because we were on a boat. We were on a boat so we were on a safari. We were on the river, the Shiri River. That was the main part. If you go back to the geography part of Malawi. Then also, so that was during the safari, as is this deer. I think I don't know exactly what it is. You want to, and then the elephant too down here in that bottom left. Okay. There's this region of Malawi where you can go, and you literally had we stayed in this like tent thing, and in the middle of the night elephants are walking past our tent, And so we just opened up like the window thing of the tent. It's more like a little hut. And we were able to just see the elephants walking behind us. And then in visiting one of the communities, this is again in the Shiri River, we saw these hippos. So these hippos right here. And there's an ancient story, folklore about the hippos, that they open their mouths because God took away their ability to eat meat because they caused so much devastation at one point. So they open their mouths so God can see that they don't have any meat in their mouths. That's another ancient story about hippos that we heard while we were on our little journey. All right. All right. Go ahead and put it in the chat, or not in the chat. Just put it in your on page 90, please. Which area does that best relate? Culture, history, economics, geography, government, and explain why. Go ahead and do that now. I'll just give you a minute because I gotta get through two more stories. All right. All right, here we go. This one. I got some stories. All right, so I don't know if I can get through this, but in the middle are two of my favorite people, Faustins and Esnen Mtolo. It's a duck, not a chicken, but yes. Rest in peace. All right, so Faustins and Esnen Mtolo. My wife and I, we went there to stay with them. We went there to stay with them for a week or so, or maybe a little longer in the village down in southern part of Malawi, where no, it was actually a little bit northeast, but it was down off of the mountain near one of the rivers, so it was much hotter there. So if you take a look, okay, this is the room that we stayed in their house. They had a 2-bedroom house, okay, 2-bedroom house. Bathrooms outside, you prepare food outside. Really, it's just a living room and 2 bedrooms. And from there, that's where we stayed. There was one window about this big in the house, about the size of a book. All right, and it was really high up. And we're sleeping on a mattress. You see the blue thing there on the top right is our mosquito net that we. There's kind of all our bags that we have for the travel. So this was quite the experience. So while we were staying in that room, one, it was incredibly hot. It was like 100 degrees, over 90 degrees every day and almost night. Okay. All right. And you don't have any airflow. So we slept absolutely terrible while we were there. But we went to the market. One thing we did, we went to the market. We got some fish. We bought some fish, some chamba from the market that they got out of the river. Yeah, this is like 12 years ago. And they put reeds of grass through the gills and then through the mouth of the fish. So you tie it together and then you carry the fish, okay, on the reeds with the reeds of the grass. So it's actually pretty cool. So we bought some fish from the market. We bought a duck that through the village experience, my wife had to kill and did. And then we prepared that duck. And I'll tell you what though, as terrible as that kind of like the preparation was, it was really good. It was really, really good. One of the better meals I've had in my life just because it was good. I'll just leave it at that. All right, here we are. We are riding a bike we took an Mtolo, like a van to this area, and then we hop on a bike taxi. All right, and they take you to where you go. So they took us to the village. And then here I am playing Bao, which is this amazing game I love to play. It's almost like Mancala. It's very similar to Mancala with the kids there nearby where Faustins and Esnet live. So That's part of the story. So, but let me tell you, let me tell you about this fish. Let me tell you about this fish. So we prepared that fish, and it was really good. It was really good. It was really good day one. All right, day one. But let me tell you a story. We didn't eat all the fish on day one, and you don't waste food in Malawi. So guess what? That fish showed up day two and day three, and they don't have refrigerators. So day one, day two, day three, that fish kept coming out for us to eat for our meals. All right. So that was crazy. Another thing, while we're sleeping in that area, the door's closed, but it's so hot that we opened the door. Okay. One, we asked Foston and Esmond if we could sleep outside because it was so hot. And they said we couldn't because it was too dangerous. Okay. But two, so we opened the door of where we're sleeping. And I heard something. So we had a flashlight because they don't have lights in the house. No lights in the house. No electricity. And I turn on the flashlight and shine it outside the door. And the only thing I see are 6 rat eyes looking right back at me because they were coming in to the water supply and the food. And then at one point, one of them was in the water that we were supposed to be drinking. Yeah, for our time there. So, I mean, we closed the door right away and we just dealt with the heat. All right. But that's my next story. So, I got one more story. So go ahead and put what area of Chegg, whatever part of that story best relates and why. And then we'll move on to story number 5. And yes, that is me. My hair is actually short there. If you go back to this one, let's go back. Hair is longer. It's like all the way down. Here, you see my hair is much longer in these. This is early on. All right. Number 2 is just about going to Gotti Village and spending some time there. But you gotta decide. You can watch the video later to get caught up too. All right. So my hair is shorter there. It's more like a soccer mom haircut or something. Oh, you gotta cut it short every once in a while. All right, let's move on to the last story because y'all gotta go. All right, so where do you think this is? What do y'all think this is? Let's see what y'all got. Y'all figured out? Y'all put in there? Yeah, there you go. Lake Malawi. Lake Malawi. This is a completely different place. You got these. All right, look at these homes, these huts over here. This village. Okay, literally on the lake. Obviously, absolutely beautiful. Okay, you got these homemade boats. All right, the kids there, everyone's always all swimming in the lake, jumping off their boats. These right here is where they put all the fish that they catch to dry out. Okay, usipa is what they call it. Okay, now here's actually an eagle that when we went on a boat, the guy that was on the boat, he had fish with him, and he would whistle, and the eagles would fly down, and he would throw the fish to the eagles. So it's almost like they were putting on a show. So that's a little bit of what happened there. And again, this is where I did swim in there, got sick, got that parasite that seeps through your skin somehow, gets into your bloodstream. Bilharzia, I told you about that, right? But nonetheless, that's it. A little bit of story there. Completely different way of life based on fishing and selling the fish. All right, but that's just kind of a little bit absolutely stunning and beautiful, and mountains nearby as well. All right. All right, go ahead and apply that to page 90. That is story number 5. Story number 5. Okay, that is it for the day. No ticket out the door.